All right, guys, welcome back to another episode. This is episode 5 of the 2023 CrossFit season. So this is in between the front squat and back squat cycle. So before this workout, I hit a heavy single based off of percentages that is week 2, session B of the current back squat, front squat cycle. And in between, I did do a Metcon. In this instance, it is a 20-minute AMRAP. It is going to be 6 inverted rows with the barbell, 12 dual dumbbell bench presses with 50s for the guys, 35s for the ladies, and then 18 single dumbbell box step-ups. And so what I'm gonna do with this workout, because it is 20 minutes, is I'm not gonna bore you with a 20-minute breakdown of going through this all, but I'm probably gonna chalk it up into 10 minutes of actually talking about the workout, and then 10 minutes of specifically talking about things that are going to, one, prep me for the open, get me ready for quarterfinals, and things that I think I can just smash into one video that will be relevant and helpful to you guys. So first, we're gonna talk about the workout a little bit here and talk strategy, a little bit of goal setting, and how I have determined, because going into today, the only thing I had programmed was the front squat and the back squat. So in this instance here, I wanted to do some type of spin-off of Cindy. Cindy traditionally is a 20-minute AMRAP of 5 pull-ups, 10 push-ups, and 15 air squats. So in the name of CrossFit, where movements are varied and it is a high-intensity workout, in this case, we are going to be doing something that is slightly different. We have the 6 inverted rows, the 12 dumbbell bench press, which again is mimicking that push-up, and then these boxed step-ups, which is doing a little bit of a variance from the typical air squat. And the reason being for this workout, as we're thinking through, is the push-pull is gonna be very, very quick, and then the meat of this workout is gonna be our 18 single dumbbell box step-ups. So as I'm thinking through this, right, I have put in quite a bit of volume on the upper body, and this is more of kind of a flowy thing with the pull and pushing of this workout. It wasn't meant to go to failure. It was just kind of move through and find a groove. On the leg portion of this, though, we did want to have a little bit of suffering. Originally, I was just gonna go body weight step-ups, but I think the added 50 pounds really cemented that this was more of a leg endurance workout. So single leg stuff, I'm very, I wouldn't say proficient, but I think it is a strong suit of mine. But I think it's one thing too that as we progress and as we want to compete, it's something to work on. And in this instance, either a single box step up or a lunge is my preferred method of training the legs individually, as I do think it is applicable to the back squat and front squat for strength and endurance purposes. So looking at this workout and goal setting, 20 minutes. On the whiteboard, I think I wrote down it was like 15 seconds to do the inverted rows with transition, looking at about 30 seconds on the dumbbell bench press, again, from the transition, picking up the dumbbells, and then actually executing the movement. So we're about 45 seconds there. And then the box step-ups, I was anticipating about 3 seconds a rep, plus the time to transition, we're looking at about a minute. And then you involve a little bit more transition time, a little fatigue from the workout, and we're looking at probably 2 minutes a round. So goal setting for a 20-minute AMRAP in this case is gonna be 10 rounds. And I think we did hit 10 rounds plus a little bit extra on the tail end of the workout. So keeping that in mind, again, we're trying to just kind of move and groove here. We're not trying to PR, we're not trying to be at peak shape. We're just trying to accumulate volume. So transitioning more into some other things outside of the workout, how do I come up with said workouts? How do I schedule them and program them either in between strengths, before, after strengths? It's all variant and dependent on where I'm at in the season. Right now I'm in week 2 of a squat cycle. We are less than 2 weeks out from the open. So I know in the instance of the open, you're not gonna see most likely a 225 barbell unless it's probably like a deadlift or there's some 1RM lift. But with the last 2 years, you're gonna see body weight capacity. You're gonna see some type of gymnastic movement or something that is very low load, but is going to be done for a lot of reps. So in this instance, again, 10 rounds, we're doing 60 inverted rows, 120 dumbbell bench press, and 180 box step-ups. So getting the legs conditioned is one of the things that I think will be beneficial, especially for the open. Into the quarterfinals, you will see training become a lot heavier. So the formation of this workout, or how I constructed it based off of reps, the time domain, and movements and loading all coordinate with the open. Now, when I'm going through the open, I will be involving more heavier loads on the barbell. You'll probably see a 70-pound dumbbell instead of just 50s, and you will see some type of gymnastics movement that is a little bit more complex or requires a little bit more upper body strength, like a strict handstand push-up, maybe a strict deficit handstand push-up, some type of handstand walk, ring muscle up, that sort of thing. So that will be the evolution as we move into the next 3 to 4 weeks of training, preparing for the quarterfinals. Also looking at how one would choose reps within a given domain, and this is where workouts can get kind of customizable based on the person's skill set, what they want to work on, weakness-wise. In my instance, maybe if I was a little more proficient with the dumbbell bench press, I would opt for 60-pound dumbbells for 12. Maybe somebody who doesn't have the same shoulder or chest capacity would drop to, instead of 50 pounds, 45, 40, or maybe even 35, depending again on whatever your capacity is. A good scale for the box step up could be simply just doing a unweighted bodyweight box step up, or in this instance, probably on a shorter box. Instead of 24 inches, you go 20 inches. Most recently today, I had a friend ask me if one should Metcon before or after a strength interval. Yes, sir, Kenny. And the response that I gave him is one that I'm going to reciprocate back to you guys, is this. It all depends on the goal. For example, this friend is very strong, very fit. So he has a choice. Either he wants to get more in cardio shape or more in strength, well, not in strength shape, or he wants to get stronger, right? So you have to make a choice. So in this instance, he has back squat, front squat waves at a very, very high percent, or he can do 100 cal echo bike for time first. And it is all dependent on what his goal is. Is he trying to get more conditioned for the season, or is he trying to get stronger? So this individual had to make a choice, and his choice was to be more conditioned at this time. So he did his echo bike first, and now he's going to make some adjustments as his percentages were too high for post echo bike intervals. And within this too, you have to think about what your nutrition looks like. In his instance, he's going to need to carb up, maybe get a little bit of protein, definitely going to need some electrolytes and a lot of water to combat the effort where he is laying on the floor. And he does not know this, but I did take a video of him after the workout, and I'm going to insert it into the video right now, somewhere in this space. That is him laying on the ground, feet are kicked up, his quads are looking super pumped. So that is Kenny. Kenny, I love you, but he did PR his 100 cal echo bike. It was sub 5, which was the goal, and he finished in 4:59. So good job, dude. So now they're on to their back squat cycle. But that is something to consider. I believe that if you do Metcon before a lift, you will be more warmed up, but you will not be at your sub-maximal effort that you would look for if you're trying to hit something, say, over 90%. Either the quality of the rep won't be there, 90% isn't your true 90% if you're at the end of a squat cycle, and those are variables you have to think about. If you don't fuel up correctly, you're not gonna get the energy to produce. And if you are already fatigued from the Metcon, you may be susceptible to injury. You may be susceptible to making little mental errors and not, again, have the quality of reps that you're looking for with each squat. In this case, their front and back squat. Another thing I'm just gonna touch on real quickly here is the nutrition. With the amount of conditioning and strength training, I believe that most athletes, especially young athletes, don't actually consume or eat enough to perform. A lot of individuals will fill their diets with said carbs and fats, but they don't actually get enough protein to go through the process of muscle synthesis. And I believe from a nutrition standpoint, most athletes don't actually eat carbs while working out in the duration of their session. So like that intra carb is probably going to be much more beneficial than getting the carbs loaded up before a workout. Again, the same individual I just talked about and you guys saw previously with the Echo Bike has bought a big bag of carbs, and he believes that it is actually helping him through his workouts. So definitely something to consider, something to keep in mind as you guys move into the next phase of your training. For my open training, I will be taking probably 2 to 3 scoops of carbs for each workout or each session I'm in the gym. So that's an extra 300 calories, 75 grams of carbs, and a bunch of electrolytes. So back to the workout itself. We are about 10 minutes in. So we are in the 6th round. We have completed 5 rounds here. As you did see, there was a little pause on the bench press. That was not a muscle fatigue. That was just a little bit of a technical error where the dumbbell was spraying out to the side. One thing talking about this workout you will see is the way that I stack the dumbbell, either on my shoulder, on my left side, or my right. Originally, I had it back racked, but that wasn't a very comfortable position. I think it was negating a lot of the oxygen that I was taking. So setting it on the shoulder was the better position for me in this workout. It's something I want to play around with if the back rack or the side rack of the dumbbell is optimal. If I was looking to expose maybe a potential weakness, such as my grip, I would have held it in the hang position. Or if it was forced to be like a goblet step over, that is something I will probably train again more in the next few weeks. That is one way to kind of tweak and up the degree of difficulty and skill required to do said movement. So in this case, the shouldered dumbbell box step up is very simple, not very complex. It's just a good leg burner and good leg endurance developing movement here. One of the reasons too that I did opt for the inverted row instead of the traditional pull-up or ring row is simply just to give the muscles a different kind of feel, a different angle, a different look. Again, trying to mix up and vary things as we go through this workout. No grips, no thumb tape, just no chalk, keeping everything as raw as possible. Again, we're just trying to flow and move here. We're not trying to PR. We're not trying to kill ourselves. And one thing too, on a side note that I will talk about is you see these little change plates that are, I think, like quarter pounders and half pounders. I'm using those as my counters or like my tokens. That is one little thing that I picked up a couple years ago. Instead of using the whiteboard or chalk to count my reps and rounds, clearly on the video I could count there too, but this is just a good mental note that I like to use, something easy, quick, efficient, that allows me to, again, keep track of where I'm at mentally and then post-WOD itself in total, so I'm not skipping reps or missing out on rounds per se. One thing with the dumbbells here, thinking about how you place them similar to how you would place a double under rope. You don't want to lose time and lose or not be as efficient in your setup as you move from movement to movement. With the goal of 2 minutes per round, and I was finishing about 1:45, 1:50 a round, including some no reps or errors in there in between, because on a couple of these I couldn't count and I was actually going up to 20 reps. It was costing me some time. So being very diligent about where you place your equipment can save you some time. It's good practice for the open, good practice for quarterfinals, having your equipment where it needs to be, ready to grab and go. With the dumbbell as well, or not the dumbbell, I should say, with the box step up. One thing too, if you are by yourself and you're not counting your reps, you want to step up with the same foot for each odd or even number. So in this instance, every time my right foot steps up, it is reps 1, 3, 5, 7. It is all my odd reps. Every time my left foot steps up onto the box, that is going to be my even reps. So in the midst of the chaos, and as you get more tired and fatigued, and you kind of forget where you're at, if you always step up with your right foot, or it could be with your left foot, wherever that odd number is, the other foot that steps up, you know that you're at an even number. So you can know if you're at 13 or 15 instead of just being completely lost in the middle of 13, 14, 15, or 16. So not always the best method, but it is a method to try to keep track of reps and count. So we are about 14 minutes into this workout. One thing I did not consider and I should have done is probably either A, kept my shirt on, or B, placed it onto the bench, as there was a little bit of sweat accumulating. Definitely did not help with the positioning of my back placed onto the bench press. Not a huge factor with 50s, but if this workout had 60s or 70s and we were going to the point of failure, that could become a little bit problematic. Just something to think about, and something I will note in future dumbbell bench press workouts. So again, not the smartest move. And then too, right there, as you see, the dumbbell did slip a little bit off the shoulders. Again, with sweat accumulating, did not really anticipate having to deal with that, especially because it's so cold in the winter right now. But definitely being indoors, that's something to consider and something to manage. So looking towards the tail end of this workout, you will notice my cadence will pick up ever so slightly as we approach the last 5 minutes. You will notice too a little arm swing to kind of help convey my body upward, and I'm trying to focus on having really clean reps here, standing up all the way. That rep may have been a little questionable with the hips not locking out fully there. And also too, as you notice, I will change grips with my left and right hand depending on where the dumbbell is on my shoulder. One thing I was trying to keep in mind though is not having my elbow touch my... Kenny, are you okay? You have a little echo bike lung over there?
Yeah, I got the lungs burning now.
That's great. So back to this workout, looking, I think this is the the completion of the 8th round. So we have about 2 rounds to go, and there is 4 minutes left on the clock. So again, with these inverted rows, I tried to keep my center of my chest as best kept under the bar as possible with a little deviation forward, looking for full reps, making contact with the bar each time. And then too, with this dumbbell bench press, I didn't want to do burpees. I didn't want to do push-ups. Yesterday was wall walks, so this was like a nice supplement to doing something with the chest and tries. Also too, I find that the barbell is a little bit more abrasive on the shoulder, so it's just an adjustment that I try to make. So as we're getting into the final bits of this workout, there is a good bit of fatigue. There is a little bit of leg burn accumulating on these dumbbell box step-ups, and now we're coming up into the 150s, 160s of this workout. And we're just moving well. Again, we're just trying to get a flow, trying to get the blood going, nothing crazy. The arms weren't really super taxed as much as I thought they would be. I thought that the grip may be a factor, but there's such a low quantity of the lateral inverted rows that I may make adjustments in a future workout where there'll probably be 8 or 9 inverted rows. And then for the dumbbell bench press, I think that either I up the weight or we increase the reps, as I don't think it was enough to actually stimulate what I was looking for. But for the sake of the legs, I think 18 reps was appropriate. The 15-pound dumbbell was appropriate, just critiquing and looking at this workout in total. The 20 minutes did go by pretty quickly, with each round, again, being about 2 minutes. The first couple rounds definitely felt like they took a while to get through, but before I knew it, I was 10, 12 minutes in, and here we are entering the final 2 minutes of the workout. Looking again, quality reps here. We're not trying to cheat anything. We're trying to, again, make full range of motion contact with the barbell from top to bottom. Getting over to the bench, full lockout of the bench press. We're not trying to, again, cheat reps, cheat the range of motion. We want good, flowy movement as we're getting through to the end of this workout. So looking here, I'm not touching the heads of the dumbbell overhead, but I am making contact with my chest. Looking at my foot position here, just trying to critique. I probably should have gone a little bit wider on the base. As you do notice, there's a little wiggle and wobble with the knees. So here we are for the last set of box step-ups. And at this point too in the workout, I want to be very focused on where my foot is being placed, how my body is moving, where is my breathing at, how am I holding the dumbbell? Is it something where I need to change grips, change hands, change how I'm placing the head of the dumbbell? Again, probably should have had a shirt on as the dumbbell was sliding around, as at this point I was fully covered in sweat. But again, not the biggest concern in the world, but again, no chalk, no shirt, probably an issue in the summertime to consider. So look again at my cadence. We know that we're coming towards the tail end of this workout. We have less than a minute to go. So the cadence is picking up, and we're trying to make sure, again, we're executing on quality reps and not allowing myself to not hold up the standards for this workout. So quick placement of the dumbbell, not really concerned with where it's at. We're trying to get back to the bar. I wish I would have picked up the transition time just a little bit to squeeze out a few extra reps. But again, we're looking for 6 quality inverted rows. And then I think I accumulate 2 or 3 dumbbell bench presses to finish out the workout. Again, probably should have had a little more pace and movement to get to the bench press itself. So I believe right here is the last rep. Yes. And the 20-minute time has elapsed. So pretty solid workout. I was pretty happy with how the body felt. And then right after this, we went immediately into a tempo pause back squat. Keeping things pretty light, nothing too crazy. I'm feeling pretty good. Now, keep in mind, I did take in some carbs. I ate a banana and I had 1 scoop of carbohydrates with electrolytes. So just throwing it out there. This is a little bit longer of a video. Hope I didn't bore you guys. Hope you guys got something out of this video for episode 5 of the 2023 CrossFit season. So as always, thank you guys for watching. Peace.